Hi guys, today we're going to do a project using our Silhouette machine and the gorgeous Fabulous Fashion CD-ROM from KatieSueDesigns.com. So I've put in CD1 into the machine and it's just going to pop up now. And then the front window comes up that's basically their menu. So this one I want to go into the collections. And here we have, it says preview the collection. So I just scroll down, and as you can see there's some fabulous images on here. However, the one that I want is this one here, so we're going to click on that. And then we've got the individual items here at the side that you can use, and you've got topper sheets, and you've got hat toppers, bag toppers, then you've got the dress decoupage, you've got the hat decoupage, the bag decoupage, and then a combination of the two, hat and dress. And you notice as you go over here you get a preview on this side, and there's also wrapping papers as well. So the one that I want is the dress and hat combination. So it opens this as a PDF. So what we want to do is I want to save a copy of this. Now I've already done that, so I just click on save copy and it tells me I'm not allowed to make any changes. That's okay. So I'm going to put it in here and press save. So I'm going to then close that. I'm going to exit this because I don't need this anymore for the moment. I need to get back to the other parts of my computer. So then I want to open up my documents. Now this should be on my D drive under my pictures, and here is the dress and hat PDF. So I'm going to right click this and open with, in my case I'm going to open it with Adobe Photoshop, but any of your graphics, sort of photographic editing programs will do the same job. So then I'm going to go into this and it's going to open up my reader and it will open up my PDF document, and it's just saying you want to import this PDF, and I say yep. Now what I want to do is I want to take this image and first of all just save it as a JPEG. So I have already done this, so I'll just show you. So you do save as and then change that to JPEG and then save it as it is. Just click save. I'm not going to do that because, as I say, I've already got a copy here ready to go. Okay. Okay. So then the next thing I want to do is on the same image, I want to click on my bucket tool, click a colour, and so you can do that by clicking on the image here. In this case, again, I've already got a colour I want, so I want the dark purple. Doesn't really matter. And then gradually, just using your bucket tool, fill up these white areas of the dress. Don't panic, this isn't going to print like this. This is just to help us. I find this helps when importing on the Silhouette for cutting out the elements, which is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to do the trace and cut. So just keep going like this. You can be pretty quick, and then you're going to, once that's complete on all these elements over here, you're going to save that again. Remember to do save as, and then save it as copy 2 of the same thing. Okay, so I'm going to close that down. We don't want to save it. Okay, so I've got here this version, so you can see where I've blacked it all out, and then I've got the white original version, which is what I want to print. Okay, so let's take this away, and then I want to go into my Silhouette Studio. So I'm opening my Silhouette Studio and just ignoring that part for the moment. The fact that it's there doesn't matter. and then you want to go into File, and you want to go Import to My Library. You want to go to where you've put those pictures, the file where you've put those particular images that we've just worked on when you save them. Change to All Files because it will say Silhouette there and you won't see them, so make sure you change that. Then you're going to click on one image and then do the same again for the second image by doing the import again, and you will end up in your library with these two images in the library. So then I'm going to put both images by clicking on it, just simply click on it as per normal and it will open up on our page. So I've put one up here and I have set this to 8 inches wide, so it's approximately on, because I've set my page to A4, so that one is there, and then I also then double click on the one with the dark area and I make that 8 inches as well. So we now know that both pieces are identical sizing. So we're now going to work on this one down here, and we're going to start on our trace. So we're going to click on our trace window up here, and it says select trace area. So we're then going to take our little crosshair tool here, drag and drop the box around all of the elements. Not too wide, so I went a little bit high, but it doesn't matter. So we're going to try that, and then as you can see, it starts to put this yellow in, and what you want is the areas that you want cut out, it will cut around the outside of any yellow line. So here it will cut around this bit of the yellow line, but it would also cut on the inside of this yellow line. So in order to cut this image out, we need to make sure that it is completely filled with yellow. Okay, so you want to take off your high pass filter, like so, just sometimes, and you can see already it's started to fill in some of these elements, and then you want to gradually move your threshold up. Now I'm just going to grab and drag a little bit, give it a chance to catch up because sometimes it's just a little bit slower. And at the moment you can see it's filling in our elements quite well, but it isn't really done this part here, this shaped part. And what I want it to do is fill in this element here, but I don't want it to do the circle. I want to cut the circle out as a hollow, so it makes like an aperture. Let's just drag that up a bit, and there we go. So everything is now coloured in. It just so happens that the threshold needs to be 100%, but that's fine. So everything is yellow, so all these edges here will create a cut line. So now let's try just trace and see what we get. Okay, so we get a little bit more going on there, which we could tidy up, I'm sure. Okay, so we finished tidying that all up there, and as you can see I've still got the dots on it, so we can take those off. All of a sudden it looks a lot cleaner and a lot clearer, doesn't it? So then we've got our image at the top here, so I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to drag it up, and place it on top. Oh, I've just dragged the wrong one. Oh, I want to grab the other one. I've still done one. Okay, let's put the cut lines in the right place since they want to move. This one wants to move. And we're going to put this in position so that if I zoom in you'll see, you can now see there's a red line pretty accurately around the edge of each of these individual pieces, which, you know, it doesn't take very long to just tidy those little bits up. And now the next thing we need to do is click and send it to the printer. So then in order to print and cut this accurately, we need the silhouette to recognise where we have printed, and then it doesn't matter if you completely squiff up the printing in the machine, it will always come back and cut it around the printing for you. long as you've put these lines in the correct place. So, in order to ensure the silhouette can see, as it were, in inverted commas, where the printing is, it needs to have something called registration marks. And these are little marks that it makes on the page, and then using its little optical thingy, I don't know what you call it, little optical thing on the silhouette machine, it will find these registration marks, and that will tell it, because they're printed and it knows where they're printed on here, it will then say, well, it is so many pixels or whatever it is, points, whatever, however it measures across from there that the printing started, and in relation to the printing, this is where I want to cut. So it knows precisely then where to cut. So to put the registration marks on, we go here, open registration mark settings window, and then we're going to click on show registration marks. Now I think what we will need to do is, having looked at that, is we need to undo, let's take that window off, and we want to go back to our home page, then our page here, and we want to set this to be a landscape piece of paper, because when we put our registration marks on, we need to be able to move this to the centre of the page, and you'll see why in a minute. So you want, if it's a landscape design, you want it to be a landscape piece of paper that you're working on. So that's what we've done there, and vice versa. So now going back to registration marks, show registration marks. So you can see there's a red line that comes in place. This is not what's printed. This red line here is not printed, but this is what you would call this is the line that is showing your printable and cuttable area. So you want your cut and printing within the inside of that line, but on top of that you've got this hatched line, and that's the area that you also don't want to do. That's the area that is your printing zones, so you can't overlap. If you look here, there's some grey, extra grey bits. This is your registration marks that are printed, so it's putting hatching over that to say, don't then put more printing over it, because it will completely confuse me, and I can't, and you'll get lines that will be straight through the middle of your design. However, you can adjust the hatching size. So for example, you see how we're moving that down. That's its minimum, and that was the left, now the top, that's its minimum, etc. So you can reduce that. I'm not unhappy with it as it is, so I shall leave it as it was. So you can alter it. So if you've got a bigger design and you need it to be as much as possible filling the page, then you can do it that way. So we'll go over now to our print window. So what we do is click print, pick the printer that I need it to go to, so it's that one there, so that's fine. I don't need to do anything about preferences, and then I'm just going to click print, and off it goes, and printing my design. Once that's printed, once I click print, once it's printed, we'll go across and we will then cut that out. So clicking print. Okay, so we're back on the silhouette here, and the next thing that we need to do, having printed it out and loaded onto the machine, the mat, etc., is send the cuts to the silhouette. So we're going to click on send to silhouette, which is that button up there, and the first thing it says is you've opted to use registration marks for the print and cut. If you've not already printed your drawing, print it now. So if you had forgotten, it's reminding you, so you can click here to print. We've already done it, so we're going to click to skip. It then says the instructions as per normal for loading your mat. So load your mat basically into the machine, continue, and then it's asking you about detecting the registration marks. So what we want it to do is detect the registration marks automatically. So we're going to click on that button. So as you can see, it's just having a look around with its optical nerve there to find the registration marks. Okay, so now that's been found the registration marks, we are going to have a look at our settings. So we need to go into settings and we're looking just for plain cardstock, and it's recommending blade depth number 3, and then all we need to do is click on cut and it will go across. Okay, and then it starts to cut on the machine. Okay, so that's finished cutting everything out, and we'll just unload the mat. So we're going to go and peel this all off, and then we're going to start making our card. Okay, so here are all the pieces off the mat, and they've cut out really nicely, as you can see. We've got this with our hollow pieces. The only thing I did find, and this was my fault, was that I pulled off the top feathery bits on the hat here, but actually I'm quite happy with that, and it was my fault. I just pulled it up too hard and they were fine. I was just a bit impatient. So we need to now start working on the card itself. So we're going to put these little pieces to one side, and we're going to first of all back our centerpiece here with some acetate, and then we'll layer it up, the decoupage up on it afterwards, but I think that will definitely be easier to do this first. So I'm going to cut a square out that's roughly just a bit smaller than this. You'll find that the corners are there, so then we'll just cut the corners out the way as well. Right, that fits all the way around. I don't know if you can just see that there. There we go. But obviously we've still got these corners, so we're just going to literally, using our eye, just cut across each corner like so, and that's just at a straight diagonal. We don't need to make it the shape. It's not going to show from the front, so it's not important. The only reason I did it with that there was I didn't want to do it so far in that I went over the gap that I'm trying to cover. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is use some of our nice Cosmic Shimmer glue. We don't want it to squelch out too much, so we're just gently moving that to make sure it's covering our element. And then we're just going to go around this circle edge here. And then the next thing I want to do, just very quickly, is take my acetate and go around the shape of the acetate on the edge piece here, and just very carefully, because we don't want the glue, obviously we can't judge exactly where this comes to on the outside edge of the paper here, so it's easier to pop it straight onto the acetate. And then we're just going to pick our acetate up, if it will let me. That's it. And then just carefully place that down. And what you don't want to do is then move it around, because you'll get glue on the bits that you don't want glue. So we'll pop this to one side so that all that glue dries nicely, and we're going to get on with actually making our card. So I've got a pre-made card from Hunky Dory, but you could easily do this on your silhouette if you haven't got this shape. Just use a square and put a border around and weld it, and that would work fine. So when you fold it over, just make sure very carefully that you're lining it up so that the back and front match, because what you don't want is having the holes sort of with bits that are showing through from behind where it's all wonky. That just doesn't look nice. Okay, and I think I would like it to open at the bottom. I do quite like square cards opening at the bottom. And I've printed off 2 pieces of paper. Well, one's on card because I was originally going to be making my card base from this, but then I saw that Hunky Dory and I thought that was just too nice. So I've printed this lovely stripe, and it's part of the same collection, from that same collection. And then on a piece of paper I've got this gorgeous pattern, and again all in the lilacs. I also picked up this sort of silk card. It's kind of a silk pearlescent card from Hunky Dory, again in this sort of, I guess it's more lavender than lilac, to be honest, so I've picked that up. And again, the beauty of this being square inside the decoration is I'm still going to see the decoration, but I'm then going to cover that up, all but a small white line perhaps, or even not leave the white line, we'll see. And then I'll just get my corner chomper and cut that down. So then we're just going to check the size. That's looking great. So we'll just get our corner chomper and take those corners. So it's 1/4 inch on your corner chomper, and then that fits in like that, making sure our top is where it's supposed to be. Perfect. So then we'll get our glue and then just pop that in position. Make sure it's nicely stuck down, just give it a gentle rub if you've got wet glue. Okay, so now I'm going to take my lovely stripy cardstock, and I want my stripe to go this direction, so vertically in other words. So again, I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm going to mark. I only want a very small amount of my lilac pearlescent cardstock showing. So I'm just going to mark where I think this needs to be. Okay, and then this piece is going to go on there, but what we want is so we want this piece of pattern paper to come behind our image. So now I need to cut this out so that it will come behind, and we're just going to stick that down on our card. There we go. But what we are going to do is sit this on our card, not on this, because I want to raise this image up. So we need to pop that in the card itself, and then making sure this goes down centrally. And then just quickly check. Yep, that's fine. So then I'm just going to get my little roller, because that's always a little handy tool, just to make sure everything is nicely stuck down. Popping the 3D foam down very lightly just to see how it's going, and that's going to fit fine. But what I am going to need to do is miter the corners, so in order to get a really nice tight fit. So let's pop that there. So then we want that to come like that, so that that next corner piece is going to sit in there just fine. There's going to be no gaps, and we're going to then do the same this side, and then we can take this side where we've just got the corner mitered, and we can stick it right up against this piece here to create a really nice tight edge. Okay, so I found 2 ribbons because I want to do my ribbons before I put the front on, and I wanted both the green and the lavender, and I'm going to thread them through all the way around, and to come out here where I'll make a nice big sloppy bow. First have a look what we think of the ribbon with our element on, whether I like the 2 colours or not. And I'm thinking the green's too much. I'm going to try it without the green. Let's have a little look with that there. That looks better. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is actually put the front on our card. So we're just going to
take the backing paper off of our double-sided foam. There we go. And then, because we're using, I'm going to be putting some glitter in there, and I probably should have done this bit before, I'm just going to take my anti-static bag and just rub that on the inside of my paper there, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the back of my element. And make sure you do not touch it now, because otherwise you've just taken away what you've achieved. Now, I had 2 pots of glitter that I was trying to choose between, but in view of the green with the ribbon, I am now definitely going to be using the purple. And as you can see, it's a really pretty holographic glitter. So I'm just going to take the lid off and gently put that in the middle here. I think that will be enough. It's always hard to tell. Okay, and then carefully picking up our element so that we don't touch the acetate. I'm just going to lightly put that on so that I can manoeuvre it into the central position. With sticky back, if you don't stick it down, you can actually get it in position. And there we go. No, that's not quite right actually. Before we stick that down, let's just lift it very carefully. Whoops. I wanted it a little bit higher because I wanted my sentiment at the bottom. So I just moved that up a little bit now. There, that's straight. So then making sure this is nicely firmly stuck down. And then we can check for any leakages. And as you can see, the anti-static is working beautifully. It's not sticking to the acetate too much, and it's just giving a really effective, pretty glittery look. And it's really holographic, this glitter, so it's looking really nice. Let's now get the elements and see which bit goes where and all of that. And I'm going to use my glue gel. Oh, I'm missing, oh, there he is. I was missing my little I was going to say dandelion, but he's not a dandelion. He's a, what is he? Dragonfly. I knew it began with a D. Dandelion, seriously. Okay, so now just getting my... Okay, so I've got a little stick and we're going to build our dress up first, I think. Turning that over. Taking our little stick and some glue, just putting some bubbles on the back of the dress. Okay. And just gently grabbing it with some tweezers, turning it over and positioning. Now you could shape this and curve it if you wanted to. I've decided today to go for a more straight look, just because, really, no particular reason. Okay, so put that over there, get our stick again and the glue gel, put bobs of glue on the next layer. And again, pick that up. I'm using the tweezers because they are quite small pieces, and oh, that goes like that. I think you can see just how much dimension we've got on there, and I think that looks really effective. Okay, then the next thing I want to do is put my sentiment on, and I've got this from a Hunky Dory set, and I thought that might look quite nice over our ribbon in the corner here. There we go. And that just says, wishing you a wonderful birthday. I'm just going to double check here, it hasn't come through. Perfect. Okay, so again, that's got quite a nice bit of dimension, and I'm just thinking it would be quite fun maybe to stick some hat pins under there, so let me just go and see what I think. Okay, so I've just got this little feather that I've chopped the top off, and I'm just going to try and pop that underneath to just add a little something there in the background. So then I've got these hat pins, they're new to me, these particular ones, and I've got this lovely purple, but I have also got the green, but I think I'll stick with the purple. So let's just see if, let's pull this off actually, I think that will be easier. So we'll pull our sentiment off, and then we'll stick our feather down in place. Like so. Then we'll put our hat pin in, and another one. Now the question is, do I want green or do I want purple? I think the green looks quite nice. So then let's put our sentiment back in position. Like so, and we're just going to pull that one up a little bit. There we go. So then I just want to put, I think, some pearls in the other three corners. So one down here. So that's our little pearls done. And then I'm just thinking that I would like to add some glossy accents to my elements here, just to really give them a bit of a standout there, just so they really pop. Okay, so that's really the card done. We've just got to wait for our glossy accents to dry. So I hope you've enjoyed making this with me, and I hope you like the finished look, and again I hope you can see how CD crafting isn't a cheat, and you really do get to craft quite a lot. I mean, essentially there was a heck of a lot of crafting here, and none of this was really, you know, any easier because it was off a CD. All we did was really print out the elements that we wanted, and obviously we used our silhouette, which was really cool, to cut all our elements out, and I think that worked really, really well. And imagine trying to cut all those out by hand. It could be done, obviously, but so much easier to do it on the silhouette. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed making this card with me. I hope you like the finished look, and I'd love to hear your comments, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.